Hello, Mr. Monica-Elena Berescu, and welcome at the ICD Academy for Cultural Diplomacy. It's such an honor to have you here in Berlin. We would like to ask you some questions in order to hear your thoughts and opinion about cultural diplomacy and related fields. What would you define cultural diplomacy, and what is cultural diplomacy for you?
Hello, and thank you for the invitation, first of all. When we speak about cultural diplomacy, we speak about a basic need that the humankind has. It's about communication, actually. It's about setting aside all your opinions that can be or not be impacted by your environment, setting aside all your biases, and standing at the same table in order to discuss with the positive approach, in order to have the best result that you can have.
Thank you. How significant is to have cultural diplomacy as a recognized academic field?
I believe it's quite important because me, myself, I'm a politician, but I was elected in 2022. I have never done that. I was in the corporate private sector before. I joined the party because of the political situation in Romania and because I thought that I can give something to my country. I'm at the point where I can give something to my country. I can give my knowledge, I can give my wisdom, let's say like that. But I believe that if you want to be a politician, you need to have also some preparation in this area. You can do it by yourself, because if you are going there and you want to be skilled and prepared, you are going to do it by yourself. But for the students that are choosing diplomacy as a career, I think that is really important to have it in their curricula.
Thank you. How does cultural diplomacy apply in your country?
I believe that it's not used like this term about cultural diplomacy. It's more used like negotiations, standing at the same table, discussing the matter until it's done, having a compromise, let's say. Cultural diplomacy in Romania is more likely to, okay, we are going to solve this issue. Maybe I'm not going to be extremely happy about it. Maybe you are not going to be extremely happy about it. But we are going to solve it, and we are going to stay here and talk about it until the things are going to be fixed.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. How important it is to encourage women to be involved in politics and diplomacy?
It's quite important, and in Romania 52% of our voters are females, and we have a discussion, we have had a discussion in the last couple of years in the Romanian Parliament about gender quota. And I know that, for example, we have a very good example in Moldova, where they do have a quota, where females are elected as members of the parliament, as mayors, as councillors. And you know, I was there last year and I was talking with a political candidate that was a man. And I was talking about the quota that you have, and he was telling me, like, you know, here in Moldavia we have this tradition that a woman is taking care of the household. So basically, if the woman is taking care of the household, why shouldn't she be capable of taking care of a community? So that's why we think that women are more suited as mayors than men. So it was an interesting opinion, and I have to admit that in Romania right now is not quite a debate about empowering political candidates, but we can feel the lack of more political women in the Romanian Parliament, because when you are doing policies for women, you need to have women at the table. It's not possible to construct a good policy for women only by the men. You need to have some balance there.
Okay, thank you. And based on that, Do you think there is a difference between the leadership style between men and women?
Definitely is a difference between the leadership style between a man and a woman, but you know, I don't think that one is better than the other. I do believe that one can suit better in some occasions and the other can suit better in other occasions. Because I don't believe that we should have only men or only women in political positions. We need to have this balance. It's so important to have the balance because otherwise, when you look at your society, it wouldn't be fair for any of the parts. So I believe that men are skilled in negotiations. Women are also skilled in negotiations. That's why you need to have the both parts at the table.
Okay. How does woman empowerment apply in Romania?
Right now it's basically through mentorship. As I told you, we have, right now in the Romanian Parliament, we have a law project that is saying that we need to have 30% of either female or man on the list of the candidates. So basically, right now in Romania, for parliament or for local elections, you need to have at least one woman. And most of the times, that woman is not going to be on the eligible places. So we in the parliament, we want to change that. We had some support from the national party leaders, but so far, this support hasn't been concretized in votes. And what's the most important part is we need the votes, but we still don't have them at this point.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting. What is, in your opinion, the current situation globally with regards to democracy and peace, and what is your prognosis for the future?
Right now, when you have millions of people that are voting this year, and in Romania we had all the elections. So basically in June we had the European elections and the local elections. Now in November and December we are going to have the presidential one and the parliamentary ones. And how it's happening in Romania, it's happening all over the globe, but most important is happening in the US. And I believe that the next president of the US is going to settle some things not only in Europe, but also in the Middle East regarding the conflicts that we have in Ukraine, in Syria, with Israel and Gaza. So basically, I cannot do a prognostic, but I could surely say that the next president of the United States of America is going to do some changes.
How strong are the democratic values in your country, and what is the current situation in your country with regard to keeping these democratic values and agenda?
We are a country that is still forging the path, let's say like that. We are here today in 2024 after almost 35 years since communist regime has fallen. So we had generations of politicians that were still accustomed with communists, but since 2007, since we are a part of the European Union, you can definitely see a progress in Romania in terms of education, infrastructure, even political parties. Yes, we still have work to do. Yes, we still have a lot of work to do in the justice area, in the rule of law area, because we have had some major protests in Romania in 2017 because of rule of law. That was one of the major reasons for which I entered politics. And after 2017, the things were quite in a balance, but in the last 2 or 3 years, something is changing and not in the good way.
Since you mentioned the European Union, what should the European Union do in order to strengthen their democratics and bring peace in the region and globally? And in your opinion, what should your country do, specifically Romania, in order to help work towards achieving this?
Actually, Romania is helping a lot right now because it's a strategic partner, because we are at the border with Ukraine. And we helped a lot when we had the refugees in 2022 that were transitioning Romania, or a part of them they remained in Romania. But most important, I believe that EU needs, and the leaders of the EU need to stand at the table and to see exactly what's happening, because you have these far right political parties that are right now in the EU Parliament, and it could represent a problem for the democracy, and not only for Europe, but for the entire world, because Europe is one of the strategic, European Union is one of the strategic players worldwide. So basically, you need to strengthen the EU. And this comes from a leader. We need to find that voice of a leader that will set the things clear and that will give a new direction. And I believe that this is what we should do, all the nations that are currently in the European Union, to find that voice of the leader and to support him or her.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. It was
Thank you as well.
really insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you.